welcome to Money, 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 your weekly personal finance date with me, Surabhi Upadhyay. Now, the concept of a will is a very important one, but one that perhaps is overlooked many a times here in India. We don't really think about what happens to all our assets after we are gone. Have we got in place the necessary documentation? Have we thought about inheritance and all the other aspects? Well, that's exactly what we are going to be discussing on this week's episode. And joining me to do that is Kartik Jhaveri of Transcend Consulting and Anuj of Khaitan Co. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. It's a very important and a very interesting subject. Yes. And I must tell you that I have no will. So therefore, it's going to be a complete layman conversation from my standpoint. But I'll start with a very basic question, Kartik. Who needs a will? Is it only for those who've got a lot of money? Is it only for the H&I? Explain the concept of inheritance as you explain it to your clients.
Anything that you own is called a property. It's not really the real estate which is a property. Anything that you own is your property. Because anything that you own is a property has to be transferred to somebody else at some point of time in your life. So therefore, one of the best things to do is start writing a document which says this is what I own, and God forbid if something happened to me, this is who I would wish that this money go to. Now, this money could be in the form of a bank account, it could be some fixed deposits, it could be a PPF account, it could be an insurance policy, it could be a property, it could be just about anything. So the idea is you're making a list and explaining and announcing to the world that this is how I'd like my money to be used. So therefore, that's what a will document would be, and typically anybody who has any property, right from the day you start earning your first penny, needs a will.
Anuj, let's get you into the conversation as well. The other sort of argument that's thrown out always is that I anyway have all my nominations in place in my bank accounts. I've got my nominees in my mutual funds, etc. So then it's all taken care of. Why do I need a will?
You know, Surabhi, this is one mistake that has led to squandering of lots and lots of wealth. Because people write a nomination thinking that I have nominated somebody and everything after my death will go to my nominee. Now, the legal provisions, nominee is nothing but a guardian. He doesn't own anything. He's just, a caretaker.
Oh, that's a very important clarification. That a nominee is not necessarily the owner of that property or that asset.
Exactly. He's just the caretaker who's holding it on behalf of, either you nominate somebody through the will, and if you have not nominated somebody through the will, then there's a succession act. And it depends from religion to religion of the person. But assuming that you're a Hindu, there's a Hindu Succession Act, which says that if you have not nominated someone, these are the people whom your assets will pass on to. So, the nominee, we've had these multiple level of disputes. We've had a father die and the son coming running to us saying that, look, I have this nomination paper, all the wealth is mine.
But it can be challenged.
So it can be challenged.
Nominations, whether you're the nominee of, an immovable property, a house, whether you are a nominee in a large mutual fund corpus, can all of that be challenged?
It can all be challenged. You're just halfway through. You need to back it by a will to make it foolproof.
That brings me to another important aspect, and I guess it's important to understand this. What happens if you pass away without having a will in place? As he just explained, nominations alone are not going to sort of, get you through. Kartik, in your experience, who are the sort of people who can perhaps stake claim to those assets because you've simply not left any legal documentation detailing who should be the rightful heir?
It's not only your immediate family. There is a lot of people who could stake claim to your estate, as it's called. So your immediate family, because they know about it. But a lot of time in India, we tend to do transactions, financial transactions, and which we don't inform the family about. Because you're running your company, you may have given a loan to somebody, you may have borrowed some money from someone else. And what happens is, now specifically in business or for business owners or self-employed professionals, a lot of time you would have external parties who you did not, or the family did not even know, and they would come to stake a claim. And they'll have enough documentation to prove that, look, we lent money to this person, or this person owes us so much of money, whether it's from a business transaction or purely a lending transaction or a financial transaction. So there is a lot of people who could actually come and stand up at your door and could completely shatter your dreams about what you think you are going to inherit, but you may not actually have it.
Okay, Anuj, why don't you come in on this, on the sort of people who can stake claim, and maybe a little more detail about this Hindu Succession Act, because you said that comes into play if someone passes away without leaving a will.
Right. So assuming that we talk about a Hindu family, you know, the law says, and we use the legal term intestate. If you've passed away without a will, there is a certain schedule in the Hindu Succession Act. We call it Schedule 1. And there are few relationships mentioned there. But generally it will have wife, kids, son and daughter. And it will have the children of the son and daughter.
But it wouldn't have sort of immediate siblings of the deceased?
No.
Okay.
So if the Schedule 1 people are not there, then it goes to Schedule 2.
All right.
And there you'll have more people. But let's stick to Schedule 1. Now, when these laws were written, these were years and years back. You know, things were not perhaps as complicated then. Now, today, if you have a family, a earning member of the family, let's say, passes away with a lot of wealth behind, and you have these 5 classes of people, let's say, between whom the wealth has to be distributed. You know, distribution is not easy. You may not have cash in your room that you can just split into 5 parts and give. There's house you have, there's car, jewelry, antiques, art. You know, valuation is not possible. So unless you die without clarity on who gets what, you are just heading for an utter chaos.
Okay, I think this part of our conversation has completely established the importance of having a will, getting that document in place. So we'll take a break. On the other side, we'll tell you how to get that document in place. Keep it with us.